This is the Flabbergasted Podcast, where we just can't believe you haven't seen it.
Every episode, we discuss a movie that one of us has seen and the other hasn't.
And sometimes that neither of us have seen.
Follow us on Instagram
At Flabberpod.
and subscribe in your podcast app of choice. I'm your host, Jessica.
I'm your host, Rogi. Let's get to it.
Hey, we are here talking about Predator Badlands. This is from November 7, 2025. And actually, Rachel and I just watched this
Like 5 minutes ago.
together.
Instantly.
Cast out from his clan, a young predator finds an unlikely ally in a damaged droid and embarks on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary. This movie was directed by Dan Trachtenberg. He also did Prey, and he also did 10 Cloverfield Lane. And then there's some other things, but those are the two that I most know him from.
Mm-hmm.
And stars Elle Fanning and Demetrius Schuster Colamontangi. I'm not really sure that I'm saying his name correctly. In fact, it's highly likely that I'm not. But
And that's the tall boy, right?
yes, so fun fact, 7'3". Holy cow.
Incredibly tall.
So tall. Which is crazy because he looks like, compared to the other predators, and I know that you can do a lot with like camera tricks. I know you can do a lot with the camera. But that's still like kind of crazy.
Yeah. He did genuinely look smaller than his brother and father, because those are the only other two that he was standing up against.
But I'm looking at the cast list and he plays his father as well.
Oh, that's fun. You know, we've got Elle doing a couple of different, so
Yeah.
we'll just have, you know what, let's just get one or two actors, and then they'll just do multiple parts over and over again. It's great.
So I'm not sure how this is working because it also says that there was somebody that wore the father's suit. So, like, I don't really know how that works, but it was fun.
So for this one, I had zero spoilers. I hadn't even seen the trailer for it yet. I was super excited that there was another one coming out because I very much enjoy the Predator movies, but I did not look into anything at all that was happening. I didn't know anything coming into it until I think Jeremy said a little bit of the snippet of like, hey, this is what it's about. And so that's how I knew that there was Elle and an android in it. And so I was just like, oh, fun.
But that's it. So it opens up and we're like, okay, this is getting interesting. And he lands on this planet or this place on a planet and he's fighting another predator. And so we're like, okay, I'm just thinking that's interesting.
It was very much kind of like Star Wars vibes. Like it was like the planet and like just the scenes of it. I mean, it was gorgeous all the way through, like the different planets that they were on and just like what was going on. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, because he shows up on a hovercraft.
Yeah.
So that was very
So
Star
it was like a
Wars-y.
sand speeder. Like, yeah. And so we're getting to see that. I like seeing the cool tech throughout the movie for sure. Just all the fun Predator items that they have.
I'm noticing for sure in the first few minutes that these predators are much more agile than any we have seen before. Like they are jumping and like swinging.
Yeah.
It's not just like this brute strength where they're just like powering through.
Yeah.
Um,
Which happens again throughout the movie too. Like they're scaling trees and jumping across from different things. And so, yeah, they were incredibly active.
yeah, much more. Yeah, just much more agile.
Yeah.
And bam, we quickly start to understand that this is his brother and he's legitimately potentially trying to kill his younger brother. Like, you're not sure if that's what he's doing or if they're just like, you know, really fighting to fight. And then you understand that his brother is trying to kill him-ish. But
I think it was just prep. Like he said brother, and I was like, ooh, is this really brother? Is this sibling brother? Or is this like brother within a community? And then as they kept going, I was like, oh, like he's like helping him with training.
Right.
Type
He's
of
like,
situation.
you can't beat me, so you have to use the cave.
Yeah.
You like, which honestly, I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm pretty sure that's a tactic in the art of war is like got to know your surroundings or something.
And
Something to
utilize
that
them,
effect.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So so obvious. It is very obvious to me as well that Deck is immature.
He's just little. Yeah. He's
Well,
just like
he's not fully grasping some of these things. And there's a lot of insecurity happening there, which is understandable because everybody's calling him weak.
yeah. I don't think he's gotten the same amount of training and skill level as the others have as well. And so I think that that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So father gets there and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. A predator with like white dreads. Because I just associate their hair things with like, they kind of look like dreadlocks. At least they did a lot more in the older movies.
Yeah.
Now.
These ones just kind of look like tubes with beads on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're like consciously making them kind of different or if, it's just our technology is making it a little bit easier to make them different. But
yeah.
And his father's like, you haven't killed your little brother yet. What the heck's wrong with you?
Yeah. Honestly, very emotional first 10 minutes. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do the rest of the movie? Because this is so much has happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just very heart-wrenching to see from what you would think from a family, because that's what we're seeing of father and brothers, of just the coldness and how their culture really comes into that of just oh, we, cull the weak, we're only keeping the strong here. And so that's, I have somewhat of a heart, so at least I'm who
doesn't, cheer for the underdog? That's a pretty common thing. So yeah. So the brother sacrifices himself and with his dying breath essentially sends Deck off to this planet with the callus, which is the ultimate, rite of passage. It's the rite of passage where they go do their hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sends his brother off to this planet to do the hunt with his dying breath, and the father ends up killing what I assume is the older brother, Quay.
Yeah.
Definitely the biggest brother.
Yeah.
So that is kind of crazy. And
he goes through a lot, I think, there in the beginning, and then he gets knocked out, so he just wakes up as he's getting back to this planet. And so he really has to think on his feet because he's now in a very different environment. He has to figure out his surroundings again. He's got to get the tools he needs to go and complete his mission, but also kind of work through those different emotions that he had that literally happened just then for him because he was knocked out. Just the visual effects of him being stuck inside the ship with this clear glass door, just watching what's happening, what his father's doing to his brother, and him not being able to do anything about it was just
and he wasn't even able technically to take off.
Yeah, so that's why I was a little curious because I was the ship is tied to the brother. You said it earlier, and in my head, his name's Kiwi, and I know that's not it. So Quay. So I'm is he really going to be able to maneuver the ship and the different things on here because it's logged to Quay and not him? So
what is that called when it's connected? Oh yeah, connected to his biometrics. Yeah.
So, but we was able to get into the stuff that he needed to, and then got to see just all the quirky stuff going on around the planet.
He gets into his weapons
mm-hmm.
and he's laying them all out. This is what I loved. He's laying them all out and there's this noise and he goes towards the noise. And while he's doing that, something comes out of the trees and steals some of the weapons. And within the first altercation on the planet, he essentially is left with one weapon. And that's this plasma sword, which I think you and I said is new, right? We haven't seen that before.
It didn't look familiar to me because I've seen the bow and arrow. I know that one, but the plasma sword looked a little new. But it's been a really long time since I've watched the Predator movies, so I'm not 100% sure.
Prey, we didn't see that one.
Yeah, with Prey, we didn't see that one.
Well, we wouldn't have seen it there. The one thing that was really new is the, oh, shoot. I almost called it a zip line, but it's not a zip line. It's the thing that Batman has where you shoot it to the thing and it pulls you up.
Yeah, that was really fun. That's there was just a lot of fun tech
grappling
to see
hook. Yeah,
all of the different tech that they had throughout it.
But that one was definitely new.
Yeah.
And then I just assumed there were several different types of bombs.
Mm.
So there's like the cryo bomb, which freezes everything, which was crazy.
And one of the things he like attached to his skin and like made light with it, like from his blood. He did that in the cave. So like I think some of them have slightly different functions. Fire? I mean, they weren't sitting next to it getting warm or anything. I mean, he was
sitting right next to it.
I don't know. I assumed it was just a light because it didn't look like it was doing much else. So I think that some of them have slightly different functions.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, most of them were the cryo ice bomb.
So he meets Elle Fanning's character, which is Thea. And does she say right away that she's a Weyland-Yutani? She says she's a Weyland-Yutani synth. I'm almost positive she says that.
Yeah, pretty close to the beginning.
Which is crazy, but when you hear Weyland, you know that is from the Alien movies. Mm-hmm. And so you're getting like your first real tie-in because Alien vs. Predator doesn't count, unfortunately, because I like that one. You're getting your first real tie-in to the Alien Predator crossover world.
Yeah.
But I don't love the Alien movies for real. And those synths are freaky.
Yeah.
And also, come at me with the difference in Android versus synth. Like, are we just calling them synths now? Or, like, are they the same? I'm curious. But anyway, so she's like, hey, I can help you. And she just has this voice that's very friendly. She has a very friendly tone. And the benefit is she has the universal translator.
Yeah.
So she can speak in English, or she can speak and you hear her in your own language, which is great for us audience members so we can hear her in English. Well, great for her English-speaking audience members. I wonder if you watch the movie in a different language, if she speaks like Mandarin.
Yeah, for sure.
But Dex still speaks.
Yeah.
So that would be fun to see.
Yeah, I really appreciated throughout this movie just seeing all of the different things, like, because as he's going around the planet, he's seeing all of like the different pieces of nature that he's having to like figure out
and interact with. Yeah.
And he is later on, he needs to utilize different like weapons, and so he's able to pick up all the things that he learned and turn those into weapons or ways that he can like help take down the bad guy in the end. And so
he really had to, all of his weapons are gone except the plasma sword, basically. So he really had to adapt and use what the planet had to offer, which I think is like that's part of hunting, I think, at like its basis form.
Yeah.
So we get the introduction of Bud, which who did not think that was the cutest, most fun thing in the entire movie?
It was a cute little monkey armadillo type thing.
Yeah. It was so fun.
And I was like, okay, is he going to be a weird sidekick? Or like, what's the, like, I couldn't figure out what his like main purpose and like introduction to was at the beginning.
He's like the equivalent of the dog in Prey, right? Like, he's around. We love him anytime he's on the screen. He has his hero moments. Or she. I think they were calling it a her. And I don't know how they know that.
I'm not sure.
Like, anytime he's around, there's definitely hero moments, and it's fun.
Maybe the synth can just tell. Maybe Thea can like scan and just be like, oh,
I've never seen you before.
Yeah, because she hadn't interacted with it yet.
So that was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Spoiler alerts, maybe, but I don't think we're going to spoil anything. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it before you listen to us talk about it as they go through. So this is why I just know enough from the Alien movies that the synths are untrustworthy. Like, they are freaking creepy. You think they're fine, and then they're not. And so I would, as much as I love Elle Fanning and the movies she does, I'm like, I don't know if we can trust her. And we find out that she has like a counterpart. There's a whole bunch of these synths on the planet, and they're ultimately, you're able to put these breadcrumbs together, but they're ultimately there to capture I just forgot how to say it, the Kalisk.
Mm-hmm. The same beast that Deck is after.
That he's hunting. So I'm not sure about Thea. I'm like wondering. They go through some different things in the planet. It's fun. And Thea is talking the entire time.
Does not stop.
Which is kind of fun too. And
she doesn't have her legs this whole time. And so he's just like carrying her. And so that's just a whole nother piece of it too, because he's just chucking her around, like does not care. And she's just like able to put up with it because she's a machine. But yeah, there's some very amusing like little details that are throughout this movie because she doesn't have legs at certain points. Yeah. And so yeah, I enjoyed that.
I did like the part too before we get to when they find the callus den. They've rescued what they've dubbed Bud, which is the little creature.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts mimicking everything that Deck is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Deck like clears off a spot to sleep, and the little guy starts clearing off a spot to sleep, and he moves a rock, and the little guy moves a rock, and he picks up his sword and like checks on it, and it lights up. And so the little guy picks up a stick and like gets fire on it somehow. I don't know how he got the fire on it. Like he's got his own sword in it, which is just super funny. And at one point in this interaction, like he spits on Deck, and Thea goes, "Oh, he's claiming you as a part of his clan or something like that. Like he's claiming you,
marking him. Yeah.
Yes, he's marking you. That's right. You're family now." Which is kind of entertaining. But then they get to the den, and Thea calls, like she sets on her beacon, and then she starts putting her legs back together, which is really funny. Like they're walking through the debris, and she's like, "There I am! Like there's my legs."
She found them.
So she starts putting her legs back together, and they have like, they get the argument. The callus comes home, and she's still putting her legs back together, and Deck is just full on fighting this monster.
Yeah. He's going for it because that's his whole goal. Like Deck's whole goal is to get this monster so he can go home and make his father proud, essentially. Like
because Quay even says like even father's afraid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the big boy. This is the big bad, which we learn to find out why, because it's terrifying. Like it can regenerate. Like it is very difficult in order to trying to find a way to kill this thing on the very little screen time that we've already seen, because it is just a beast just going on.
Deck honestly has been really lucky in all of his interactions up until then because he's been able to get out of them.
Yeah.
He's not doing any research really about what this callus is, how we fight it, he's not doing any research. And even Thea tries to tell him, like, you might want to stop. This is, sword grass or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And he ignores her a lot and starts to go for it. And then he realizes, oh, this is bad. And then he stops and she finishes saying what she's going to say. But he's also like just running right into these things with no prep at all. So that's why it's also really fun at the end when he goes and gets all the stuff that he has learned about.
Yeah.
Like it shows a character growth moment. Like now he's like thinking and actually preparing.
All the things that he's seen that he was able to turn into a weapon. Things that hurt him at one point in time, he was able to turn that back into a weapon later. Yeah. Yeah. So I was really proud of myself when we saw the callus and we were watching it, and I was like, oh, like Bud is a baby callus. Like they are the same somewhat like species type, like it's mom and baby-ish or whatever. And come to find out that was accurate. And so like whenever I am able to guess parts of the movie, I'm always really excited for myself.
You did really well. I wasn't even thinking that at first. Like I was just thinking, man, this is just fun. Like I wasn't thinking.
Yeah. They moved the same. They're the same shape. They have the same like teeth, like mouth situation, but obviously like the head, it had like kind of a mane situation thing going on. And so Bud doesn't have that. And like its features weren't drawn out yet. And so like it's
definitely baby, definitely juvenile. I don't know that we want to say baby, but maybe baby for that age, but like the relativity of the time and the growth, but definitely a younger version.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know if they were actually mother and child, though.
I mean, they say it, and there's obviously a connection there because the predator's fighting the callus, and the callus smells Bud spit on him.
Yeah.
And so that's why he stops. He doesn't kill him because he smells it. And then that leads to the capture of the callus because then all of the other synths, they came in and like bopped it using the predator's tools because they found that in the ship and everything. And so that's just kind of rough for your boy.
So I just want to take a moment to point out that like AI still needed another species tools to complete their objective.
To complete their mission. Yeah. Because turns out that these synths have an entire compound. They have so many resources on this planet that I was like, when Thea was talking about like, oh, we were sent here for a mission and we're doing this, that, or another thing, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, because she was like, yeah, me and a small team. Yeah. And so I'm like, sure, like 15, 20 of them, they're down here doing whatever. And then we see the corporation that has been shifted. Like, I mean, it's this entire, they have an entire sector with all of these lights set up.
It's like a full-blown, like, army base, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, so that is, or I should have said military base, not necessarily army. But that's super fun. It stops and is like, oh, I smell you. And then Deck, I almost got their name wrong again. Deck gets captured too. And Tessa, who is also played by Elle Fanning, it captures Thea and pins her to, whatever, straps her to the wall of the shuttle or whatever, and runs through her memories and everything, which is like super invasive and annoying. And then tells her like she's broken.
Yeah. And
the relationship that the emotions and empathy that Thea was feeling are not the same as what Tessa was feeling.
Yeah. Because they were like extra special synths. Like they had been given extra emotions in order to be able to understand like the creatures of this planet and help them learn and figure out how to get the callus for the Wayland company. So that way they could capture it and take it back for its, blood and research. And so that way they could, utilize it for whatever resources that they had going on.
I think when you say utilize, I think what you mean is monetize it for everybody who wants to buy eternal youth with the whole regeneration thing.
Well, I'm sure that they would turn it into a weapon. Yeah. Like, we can make your humans, be able to, if they go into a battlefield, it's fine because they're going to just regenerate.
Yeah. So who cares about war?
Yeah.
But that's me and my commentary on the political impacts. So, yeah.
It's interesting because even though like they're synth and they're not humans and like, we talk about human nature and what that looks like is like they were given the same emotions and it was still just like how they each like interpret it, even though they're like the same computer system and same, like they were given the same stuff, but they still came out with those different perspectives of what they should do. And you could tell that Thea knew what her mission was and what their goal was, but she was apprehensive and just wanted to be like more careful of what that looked like. And she wanted to keep Deck around and was careful. Like she didn't tell her about Bud. She didn't tell her about what was going on with that. And so it was just interesting to see those parallels, even though they were the same, but they were still different.
Yeah. And Thea spent, what did she said? Like she was in the vulture's nest for 7 days. And
I think it was like 13 days or something like that.
But Tessa was taken right back, plugged right back in, repaired, and, they monkeyed around with her programming a little bit.
So it could have been, honestly, because it's interesting that they took Tessa back. Because how she explained it, I thought that the callus had taken Tessa.
I thought so too.
And so I was like, that's why she wants to get the callus is so that way Tessa can come back.
Yeah.
But then I realized that she was saying that so she could get her legs back and then they could let them know and then everybody could get the callus or whatever they needed. But I'm curious, that makes sense when they took Tessa back, if they tweaked her programming. And so maybe she was more like Thea.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she went back after they had gotten attacked by the callus, after that like reprogramming, that she went back to more of that base.
Or even they just said, because when she was getting healed or patched up or whatever you want to call it, she was saying Thea, 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 like multiple times because Thea had gotten captured, demolished, whatever you want to call it, by the callus. So she was still thinking of her until the machinery came on and said, whatever, we're very disappointed in you and you have to complete this mission or we're going to decommission you, essentially. So we're going to kill you if you don't complete the mission.
Yeah.
And so then right then it resets like the logic part. Like, okay, if I want to survive, I have to complete this mission.
Yeah.
But then Thea's out there experiencing different things and watching different things. And like she's just developing this all of these new perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I really like to see the relationship between Thea and Deck grow throughout the movie because, I mean, Deck is just utilizing her as a tool to get, the callus and just complete his mission. But then you see how they have become part of like a clan of themselves, like him and Bud and Thea, and like they're just doing what they need to. He's utilizing the things that she taught him along the way. And so I really like to see like their friendship growth that happened throughout the movie and how they were able to just be like, okay, this is our new thing. This is our new plan. Let's go and do it. Like there wasn't a lot of standing around talking. There was just kind of like, okay, moving on to the next thing. Like, let's go.
Kind of like interesting that they got over it and they moved on. They're like, they all got over betrayal of each other, right?
Very quickly.
Tessa betrays Thea. Thea she definitely betrays Deck, but then she helps him out.
Mm-hmm.
And Deck ultimately betrays, not ultimately is the poor choice, but Deck actually betrays Bud because he leaves her behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like earlier in the movie. So there's a lot of betrayal going around, but they're like, hey, my bad.
Let's
connect
keep
and
going.
make this happen. So that's kind of funny. I love, though, he finds Bud and he realizes, okay, you're like a baby, you're a kid, and that's your mom or whatever. And he gets Thea's legs for her.
Yeah.
And as soon as he untraps them, they get up and start walking. And he's like, okay.
In my head, that was why he got the legs, was so that he could the legs would lead them back to Thea. So that way he could find her and then they could keep moving forward with their plan.
I mean, I wouldn't have assumed that until it happened. Like I wasn't thinking, the legs are going to find the
I think once
person.
He saw them moving, but they were just trapped, I think that's what clicked in his head of like, okay, if I let these go, they're going to go back to their counterpart.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to move forward. So, yeah, it was fun getting to see them go in and just watching these legs walk through and them just silently killing a bunch of synths while these legs are walking around this campus. So trying to find their counterpart. And so, I very much enjoyed that they're just following these legs around. And
Bud's like killing synths too, like ripping them up. And he's like, I got an arm, And one of my favorite parts is, right, they get, Thea gets her body back, which is fun. It's like a really fun fight scene where she's fighting with her upper body and her legs are doing their own thing against these two synths. And so she gets her body back and then Bud comes around the corner and he like has this leg that he tries to give her because he knows like she's missing her legs, but she's like, oh, I'm good now. Thank you. And he's like, okay, whatever. But it's so fun. Like he was going to give her a leg. She needed legs.
He was like, this is what I know about Thea.
Yes.
She has her top half. She needs a bottom half.
Yeah.
We're trying to give them to her, but I don't know where they are. So here's a leg. Let me go give it to her.
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciated the little comedic relief that Bud had and shared throughout the movie.
And it's very much a kid's logic, like a youthful logic, which is fun. And so then he's like, you guys go get the callus. I'm going to get my trophy. That's what Deck is saying. So that's interesting. And then Thea is like, you can't go rolling in there. People will see you or you won't blend in. That's what she says. You won't blend in. And Bud is talking to her. So I'm assuming she's understanding because he's like chittering and making noises. And she's like, well, I have an idea. So she puts on this poncho, which is really fun. And then she like tries to get her eyeball to scan like the iris scanner. And so she's like moving her. So like she's taking her finger and moving her eye around like, oh, I might have something dirty on there to like get scanned, which is fun. And, you know, the guy comes up like, what are you doing? And she's trying to make something up, and he like the equivalent of cocks his gun, like pulls the hammer back on his gun.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do we do about the creature? And she's like, what creature? And she turns around and Bud is in this little poncho walking, like following her. Because obviously it didn't have anything to do with him being like this funky creature. It had everything to do with wearing a poncho. Like, that solves the problem. Which is just, again, that kid logic, but is so funny. And she's just like, okay, this plan is ruined. She smashes his head against the side of the wall or whatever. And she's like, we need his eyes. And they let the callus out.
Yep.
The big one.
Yep. Let the big callus. I appreciate it. I enjoyed all the fight scenes in this film.
Oh, yeah.
I thought all of them were pretty good. I don't think that there was one where I was really disappointed with. I feel like there was a good range between, like, you know, this is a wild animal type thing and we're fighting it and figuring out, / this is, you know, another predator that we're battling, or a synth that we're battling, or a really big creature. And so I really enjoyed all of the different styles we had. It just kept reminding us of like other movies that were in it. Because like one was in like a big old mech suit. And so like that's, you know.
Very Avatar is what we were saying.
Yes. And so like kind of different sci-fi things. And so like I kind of liked how like, I mean, Predator is something I grew up watching. And so, but I had like, you know, memories of that and seeing that in here. And then also I was just having like relations to other movies that I've seen and enjoyed too. And so I appreciated that with this film. With not all films do I enjoy that, but like with this one, for some reason it worked for me. And so, yeah, we got to see another big battle scene. And I was honestly, as soon as he ended up taking down the
mech
synth
suit.
Tessa.
Yep.
And I was just like, perfect. He can take that skull back, loosely. And he can take that back and then he can present that. So that way he's not killing like this other creature and stuff like that. And so I was really excited for like that piece of it, is that like he could still go and like do his part to like for his predator style christening, as you would.
This really felt like a story within a story in a way that Prey didn't feel like. And I don't know if that's because we like left the planet to have the fight and capture the callus, and then he came back home to his home planet. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's because of that, like, you know, actual moving of the scene, or if it just, I don't know, but it felt very much like a story within a story to me. And I think that was fun. Like, it didn't take me out of it or anything, but it's a very clear difference when they finally end up killing Tessa. Unfortunately, she kills the big one.
Yeah, she kills the callus.
Really not a fan of at all. Yeah. That very is irritating.
Well, this is the first time in the Predator movies that we've seen, because normally we're just on the Predator, like the planet that the Predator is doing
this hunting on.
Yeah, the hunting. And so this is the first time we're starting at Predator Planet, going to another planet and coming back. And so we are getting just more of, because we're used to just that one set of the story of the hunt. And now we're getting the bookends of the hunt, like before it and after it. And so we're getting to see more of that, which I always appreciate, like just, the more details and different things.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's fun to see. And so they end up going, which again, I was like, how is he going to get his ship, the brother's ship back? But they take a different ship, right?
I think they do take a different ship.
I think they take one of the Wayland ships.
Yeah. And it's not a problem because she's a synth and she's
can figure it out
in that kind of way. Like, she talks about her strengths were in the lab, even though she kicked butt.
Yeah.
But I think they all maybe have that basic level. But she's definitely understanding these. She has an understanding of science and like biology and how things work for sure.
Yeah.
She seems to find that interesting. So I don't doubt that she could fly any kind of ship once she wrapped her head around it a little bit.
Yeah. 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 And so I liked that we get back and he's able to present the synth head to his father, and he's just like, okay, give me my cloak. Like, I did my mission.
Like, is nobody talking about, it's a very tiny skull. Like, how is that because they are very much toxic in the way that they're like, bigger is better. Oh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The macho-ness of it. Yeah.
But yes, so he says, I want my cloak, right?
Yeah.
Basically, he says, I want my cloak. And I think at the same time, we probably both had this realization that, when he says cloak, like they're talking about like his invisibility cloak or shield or whatever, his ability to go invisible.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that the whole movie, and it didn't occur to me that was part of what you earn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought
all
that
of
was
the
really
other
fun.
Predator movies, this isn't their first hunt. This is this is just them hunting, because we see in the brother ship, it's got multiple skulls up on the man. So he did his first hunt, earned his cloak,
but he didn't use his in the fight with his dad either, which I don't understand.
Use it with his dad or his brother. Well, no, he did use it with his brother when they were fighting in the cave, but he didn't use it with his dad. Yeah. Okay. And so, I thought this whole time, I'm just like, why does he care so much about, this cloak that goes over his shoulders? Like, and then we were like, oh, okay, it's the invisibility thing.
And it's so little. I mean, it's obviously just this little button.
Yeah.
But it's so little, and you don't ever, like, this is the most down to the skin we've ever seen a Predator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
because normally they have all the masks
armor
on and different stuff. He has a mask on for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of goes back and forth. And he had some of the like arm shields.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we're seeing his arms, his chest, his legs, his feet, like the
bare feet.
Mm-hmm. He's got some wraps around gloves. A few things, but yeah.
Like, and I mean gloves like I think they like came over the tops of his hands maybe in the other movies. Like, he doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So that's like really interesting, but this cloak is like this little tiny, I don't know, it looked almost, well, the guy's 7'3", so it looked sort of like it was the size of a quarter, but, when you're 7'3", maybe a 50-cent piece. I don't know.
Yeah. And
but
so
that was really fun.
Yeah.
Because the dad's like, kill him. He's still weak, and he brought me this tiny skull, and isn't that adorable? Go ahead and kill him. And he just takes those guys out.
Yeah.
So maybe at the beginning I assumed like maybe he's not really a great fighter, but he's training with his brother who is a great fighter. And so like he's learning, but maybe he's not quite up there yet. But we also don't know how long it took him to go back to his home planet, because Bud has significantly grown.
Yes, he's gotten way bigger.
So maybe he's training with Thea.
He's trained for a little bit, and then he goes back to take it back.
I mean, it's like, I don't know, like 4 seconds or something of hits, and he kills both of them instantly with the staffy thing right through their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I do like that he kind of gets to show his father, like, hey, like, I'm not just like the weak one. Like, I'm out here. I've put in the work. I've done what I need to. I deserve that cloak. Give it to me so that way I can continue doing my own thing, because I'm obviously not staying here. I have my own clan. I've got my own family now. Like, this
Which
is what
he
we're gonna
doesn't
do.
say that until his father says, yield and come take your place in our clan. Which honestly is a load of BS too, because even if he does do that, he's still not going to be... Like, he's going to have to keep proving himself.
Yeah, for sure.
There are still going to be those people or those, And
he said yield as he's stapled down to, like, he has been taken over, and he tells his son, okay, you need to yield now. Like, I'm like, okay, Paps, let's take a chill pill, shall we? Because you're obviously not in the, like, you don't have the high ground here, okay?
Yeah,
like, let's chill. So, yeah, it was a little affirming for me when Bud came and ate him.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
He doesn't even kill him.
He's like, no,
Bud does
we're not doing this.
Which I think is fun.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to burp. I really thought he was going to burp. But he didn't. But he did, like, coo when Thea came over and she, like, scratched under his chin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I love. Well, something we didn't talk about is when they're at the Kalisk den and he's talking about, I'm going to get my great trophy, and you will be the first to witness this. This is a great honor for you. And then when he's captured by the Wayland Corporation, which also really irritated me because Tessa says, oh, it's right into that. Tessa says, you are now property of the Wayland Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do not like this concept that autonomous beings are property. It's very like, it's very weird, the lines I have for that, but it was so horrible that she said it like that.
Yeah.
But then she goes, it's such an honor for you.
Yeah.
Of course, she had scanned all of the
Thea's memories.
Thea's memories
So
and
I
everything.
assume that that's why she said
Yes.
it. Is it just kind of like, okay, like this is what, this is
But
what
it's-
you said. And
such a great way to immediately show, like, this is what you said,
Mhm.
and now let's look at it from a different perspective. Such a really jerky thing to say, and now you have it, like, you've seen it from a different side, and you realize that it was a really crappy thing to say now.
Yeah.
Like, that was really fun.
Yeah.
I lost why, because we were talking about how that was fun with Bud, and then that was the other funny thing that I liked. And so we're like, oh, okay, that's it. That's the end of the movie. And there's a black
He got
screen.
his shield.
He got a shield.
got a
And he
shield.
turns it on.
Yeah. And it shows that it works. He got the one off of his dad. And I was honestly a little surprised there wasn't going to be more pushback from, like, because we saw
From the
other
rest of the
predators. Like, we
predators,
saw
yeah.
some other people there. Like, they were obviously going to let the leader father do his thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I assumed that when he had then be killed, that someone was going to come down and do something, like say something, just kind of figure out what's going on.
So I assumed that they would, like, kneel to him, and he would be the new guy. Oh, man. Rachel, we really butchered this. Okay. Hold on, everybody. Let's take us back for a second. When the father says, yield and take your place, he stops and he's like, no, I already have my own clan. And then Bud bites off Dad's head.
Yeah.
So that's just really great timing right there. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen because he says that, but then I'm thinking all of these predators are up here and I've forgotten what their name is, but I thought they would kneel to him and he would take their place he would take his father's place as, like, the leader. That's what I thought was going to happen.
See, I figured that there would be some other man, like other
Person
male
to
counterpart
challenge.
that would, that he would come in and be like, actually, no, you have been the weakest one. Like, you're not even supposed to be here. You shouldn't have even gone on your little journey.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to come in. So that's what I assume. I was just kind of waiting for someone else to come in and be like, challenge. Like, you're not just because you killed him or Bud killed him doesn't mean that you get to take over now. And so, that's kind of what I was waiting for.
And then we hear a ship.
And we see all the other blades go. Like, we hear the blades going off. And so we're seeing those happen from the other predators. And we're hearing a ship. And we're like, oh, like, what's going on?
And I think Thea even says, like, who's that? Is this a friend?
And he says no. And so she's just kind of standing there. And he's like, it's my mother.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then it goes back to black. And so it was just like, oh, interesting. And so then I brought up about how, like, in Star Wars and Darth Maul's community, it's a matriarchy. And so the men are, like, kind of the lesser of the two. And they just have their own community, and the women go and will get a men when they need to. But, like, any business that's done is done through the females of the community. And so, I'm very curious now if the predator community is more of a matriarchy and it's the men, like, this is kind of what they do because they don't have anything else. Like, they're not governing or doing whatever. They just go on their little hunts and, that's their thing is they train. And then the women come in and visit occasionally, or maybe they come and get one of the hunters when they need them for something. And, like, that's their whole goal is just to be a really good hunter in case mother or whoever needs it. So I really liked that ending, and I'm very excited.
I think it sets up so nicely. I will for sure be watching whatever movie comes out next.
Yeah. Very much enjoyed that.
So, would you watch it again?
Yes, I would definitely watch it again just because I feel like it was just gorgeous and there was just a lot of things happening throughout it that I would definitely do a rewatch to see just all the little things that I missed. Just because, and I don't think that there was a ton, like I was definitely paying attention, but we had breaks and dogs and all sorts of things like that. So, I will definitely watch it again. I don't think it's going to be one where it's like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite and I'm going to watch it, once a month or anything. But I think it's a fun one that had good like action in it and also funny bits that it's enough that I would enjoy it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree on all of those counts. I would watch it again. We can
Nice.
watch it together.
Perfect.
Day night. So yeah, definitely would watch it. Excited about what happens next. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.